by a... Oh, we have a caution already. Oh, my. Who is upside down?
It looked like National Guard colors, which would be Weldon.
It is.
And that is before the start-finish line, guys. When we saw that lead pack kind of file in, this happened back coming off 11.
You saw them file through, and then, as you said, Robbie, a gap. And in that gap, there's obviously been a touching of wheels.
And that's right at the beginning of the turn number 11. Going to right the car.
Now, of course, they start the race on the long course, as it's known. When we get going here, they won't go down. That is only done on the start and restart.
Yeah, make a little longer U, and that just allows them to stretch it out and make a cleaner start, you hope. This isn't clean here.
See what happened. Oh my, that was more than just a tip over, wasn't it?
Off the right front there.
Can show the strength of that roll hoop.
Yeah.
And it looked like Baguette was the car that was behind him.
And that's what I say, it was just the right front. It was just a simple little clip. There's the clip.
Yeah.
And it sends you over. Well,
wow, that was a nasty one.
Well, that's, you know, when we talk about the challenge of IndyCar racing, open wheel racing, and while you don't spend a lot of time touching out there, that's why right there.
Well, it is a 2x2 start, and Weldon was gridded 12th, which would mean he is on the right. So I think because Will Power got on the gas so soon, they were kind of sliding into single file, and he thought he was clear, and obviously he wasn't.
And you're right. And if you think about it, is that first 10 that we saw, they were at single file already at start-finish line. So they were really using their head and say, let's not have anything crazy happen in turn 2 at the top of the hill here like we saw last year.
Well, Dan is okay. You saw him walk to the ambulance. Hopefully we'll be able to talk to him before too much longer, but it has resulted in a caution very early on here at Sonoma.
The IndyCar Grand Prix of Sonoma on Versus is presented by IZOD, the official apparel sponsor of the IZOD IndyCar Series, available at Macy's, and by Peak Performance Products. When you peak, you win.
Leader Will Power used it, but when we go on board and we take a look at Dan Weldon's crash, you'll notice that as he began to go, watch where his hand is, guys. He is on the push to pass. In fact, before Weldon depressed it, before Power depressed it, Weldon was already on it. Now, I'm not saying that that's what happened, but I'm saying that it might have been a contributing factor.
And you watch Weldon come out. Now look at, he starts tracking out where you had Baguette right there.
And again, he was gridded on the right-hand side, and so the fact that Power took off early, people were stringing out. Again, he thought he was clear, but obviously he was not. Lindy?
And John Barnes, I know it's early, but what do you know at this point about what just happened?
Nothing really, just what we saw in the replays here just a second ago. And, it's come down here for this long start, and they come off the corner down there, and pretty good place for acceleration. It looked like that Dan let the 78 car go. He moved over, and someone was there. So just one of those deals.
We've heard Dan say before, just with your support of National Guard and the people he's met, that incidences like this only make him realize that he can go back out there and do things even better. What would you say about your support from them and what he's learned?
Well, there's no question about that. The selfless service that the citizen soldiers do every day is incredible, and they make us better. And we have tough days like this. It's nothing compared to what they go through every day. So it's an honor to represent them, and we'll be at Chicago.
John, thank you for your time. And Bob, Dan Weldon is out here and obviously okay, shaken up at the moment. Hopefully we'll get a word with him in a bit, Bob.
All right, good deal. John Barnes, of course, one of the owners of Panther Racing, back at Sonoma, California, Infineon Raceway in the Indy Grand Prix of Sonoma in a moment. About to get the green flag and hopefully some green flag racing after the incident with Dan Weldon. You saw on Versus Nonstop, Danica Patrick made a pit stop. She has caught up with the back of the field. Here comes the field now off of turn number 11 and looking for the Apex Brazil green flag. And there it is. Now let's do some racing here. Up the hill they go.
And Helio was a lot closer behind Will Power that time than he was on the initial side-by-side start.
Oh,
Wow.
as J.R. Hildebrand was on the outside, that was tight.
Will Power has the lead already and stretching it out a little bit. Dario has dropped back to third. Helio's running second.
Alex Tagliani, who Robbie talked about in the Open, is putting a lot of heat there on Dario Franchitti, black and white B&W colors.
And as tough as it is to pass on this circuit, just starts, restarts, when everybody's just getting everything up to temperature, now is the time to be aggressive, to maybe force your hand to make some positions.
Thought maybe Scott Dixon would try to get by Ryan Briscoe, running just ahead of him. No attempt, however, going into one of the braking areas and good best places to pass.
Alex Tagliani, great shot of him. I love that kind of gold-plated, bronze-plated numbers and mirrors. That's very cool in person.
Oh, I just saw some dust there.
Oh, and the 34.
Which is now Baguette. They have changed car numbers.
Right.
And maybe what caused that is, remember, he was the one that got together with Weldon, and something was tweaked on his right front. So when he went to his brake point there going into 9, something was just off a little bit.
And I don't place any blame in his corner. It was a 2x2 start, and he was where he was supposed to be, was Baguette.
Well, that's
so I think, you know, if this car's not damaged, hopefully he'll have a decent race out of it.
And Bertrand has really done a fantastic job all season long. I talked to him, I said, what's your biggest challenge? He's still learning these steel rotors. He's used to the carbon rotors and just the feel of the brake pedal and how you got to carry that into the corners. It's a different style, but he's doing a darn good job driving for Eric Bachelard and the Conquest team.
They switch numbers, but the colors on the car remain the same, as Elio kind of sneaks in there on Will Power in turn number 7, but Power accelerates off the corner.
You know, the one thing that would scare me with Elio, one comment that he made about his race car, he said, I have a very consistent car. And if he's got a consistent, happy race car, that's a guy that's going to be tough. But I still think a bigger issue, that may have been a little front by Elio because of how are the Reds going to last, Jan, and you touched that early on.
And now you can see the dramatic difference of the two different ways that you make that corner. Look at this move. Muto up the inside of Viso. Nice out-braking maneuver, and Graham Rahal back there trying to take advantage.
Yep. Sure. And Viso will come into the pits. Robbie, he's headed toward you. E.J. Viso with an early pit stop.
It's going to be a 3-stop race for E.J. Viso. They made a spring change earlier this morning for the better. They knew they were coming in early. They're taking off the Firestone blacks, throwing on the Firestone reds. You should see a front wing adjustment and back out for E.J. Viso according to plan.
His cousin, Juan Carlos, designed the helmet that EJ is wearing this week here at Sonoma. By the way, Will Power has now led in 12 of the 13 races this season. The only race that he has not led was at Kansas. What a year. There's Simona Di Silvestro, who's running back in 11th position, will jump on board her car, and up ahead is Rafael Matos.
And this section is all flat out. You don't lift through here. You're about 145 mile an hour. Right through there, the car gets a little light, and then this is that tough braking zone where we've seen a lot of guys lock up that right front and go straight instead of finishing that little chicane off.
Down to Lindy.
Dan Weldon standing here and fine, and we're thankful for that. Describe being in that car.
You know, it's never a good thing to be upside down, but you know, obviously everybody at Delara and the IndyCar Series work extremely hard on the safety aspect of it. It's just, for us, very disappointing because we, you know, the National Guard Panther Racing team did an extremely good job with the car this weekend, and we were really hoping for a good finish. So it's incredibly unfortunate, but you know, there's nothing you can do about it. You've got to move on, and you know, there's certainly the last 4 races I think are going to be a very strong stretch for us. So we're excited about that, but you know, for all the work that the guys put in, we're extremely disappointed because, like I said, I really felt we had a good chance of having a very, very good result.
I've heard some of your crew say, oh, we always look at the people who go out first lap and think, man, that must feel terrible. And now they said they're feeling it. Describe what it's like to be on the sidelines and have to watch now.
Yeah, it's unusual, and you know, it's not happened to me a lot in my career, so you know, it's not something I want to get used to. And you know, certainly, like I say, we'll move on and you know, rebound very, very strong.